This so you can make an advanced ban appeal system for your Discord.js version 14 bot, so let's go and get started. Before I show you how to do this, I'd like to say that if you're interested in getting the source code from this video or any of the other videos on my channel, you can go ahead and join a super or god tier subscription on YouTube, or you can go ahead and get a god tier subscription on Discord. We also offer the bot tier, which is a full zip file of the exact bot used in the tutorial videos, and we have 3 bot packages that you can get. They are fully coded Discord bots based on a specific topic. If you're interested in any of this, it will be in the description below, and let's go and get started. All right, so to start, we're going to go ahead and go over to our code. I am using the brand new handler from a new video, so a lot of the code in this is going to be reliant on the new handler. I'm sure you can make the code work in a different handler if you are using one. Just keep that in mind. So if you would like to get this handler, you can go ahead and watch the video in the description below and download the new handler in my Discord. So we're going to go ahead and start by going over to schemas. We're going to go ahead and create an appeal schema and a ban appeal schema. So the first is going to be ban appeal. So you're going to go ahead and create ban appeal.js. It's going to be your appeal guild, your send channel, and your regular guild, and you can go ahead and save that. Then you're going to go ahead and create an appeals.js schema with an appeal guild, a user string, and a message string. So once you have both those schemas, we can go ahead and go over to commands, and we're going to go ahead and create ban appeal.js. Within this, let's go ahead and start off by writing out our commands. So we're going to do module.exports. We can go ahead and get our data. We're going to get our new /command builder, and we're going to go ahead and set a name, and this is going to be ban appeal. Then we're going to go ahead and get a couple more things. I'll go through them. We're also going to go ahead and get our discord.js dependencies, so let's go ahead and paste that in here. We're going to go ahead and get our /command builder, our embed builder, our action row builder, and button style, all from discord.js, and we're going to get our ban appeal, which is going to be the ban appeal schema. Then, like I said, we're going to go ahead and do our new command. We're also going to go ahead and set admin to true, so we can make this an admin only command. We're going to go ahead and add one subcommand for setup with a guild ID string and an appeal channel string. We're going to set required to true on both of those. And then we're going to go ahead and get a disable command to disable the system and a send message command to send the ban appeal message in your appeal server. So now we're going to go ahead and do async executes. So let's go ahead and get our interaction, and we can also get our clients, and we can go ahead and open this up. So the first thing that we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to get all of our variables. So we're going to do const options equals interaction. We're going to get our sub from options.get sub command. We're going to get regular data from ban appeal.find one, and we're going to get regular guild, which is going to be our interaction guild.id. And then we're going to get our appeal server data, which is going to be ban appeal.find one, appeal guild this time, and then interaction.guild.id. The next, we're going to write out our send message function. So we're going to go ahead and do send message. We're going to get our embed builder, and we're going to go ahead and set our color to blurple, and we're going to set our description to message. Then we're going to do a wait to interaction.reply, and we're going to reply with our embed, and we're also going to go ahead and set informal to true. So next, we're going to go ahead and set up our subcommand. So we're going to go ahead and switch to our subcommand. Let's go ahead and start off by getting our case, which is going to be setup. So within this, we're going to go ahead and start by saying if, and we can do regular data, or we can go ahead and say appeal server data. Then we can go ahead and open this up, and we can do a wait send message. We're going to be using the send message function. We can go ahead and say it looks like the server is already a part of the ban appeal system, either as a regular guild or an appeal guild. Then we're going to go ahead and say else, and we're going to go ahead and set up our system. So the first thing that we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to get our variables. So we're going to get guild ID, which is going to be options to get string, which is going to be our guild ID. Then we're going to get our appeal channel, which is going to be our appeal channel. So these are both our variables. Then we're going to go ahead and create our schema, so we can get our appeal guild, and we're going to save that to our guild ID. And we're going to get our send channel, which is going to be our channel variable right here. And we're going to get our regular guild, which is going to be the guild we're in. And then we're going to send a message saying, I have linked guild ID with this server for ban appeals. Go to a channel in your ban appeal server and run the ban appeal send message command to finish setting this up. So I'm going to go ahead and explain how the system works real quick. Essentially, what's going on here is we're going to have a regular guild, and we're going to have a ban appeal guild. So the ban appeal guild is going to be a guild that basically you're going to send to all your banned members within the server, or it's like a public server that's associated with your server that you can do this with. Your bot has to be in both guilds, and then when you set this system up, you're going to go ahead and use that appeal guild ID in this part, and then the channel is going to be the channel that you want the ban appeal messages to send to. So that's going to be in your regular guild. That way the bot has access to the user, so we can run all this through the actual application, so the bot can view the user and the guild that you need to unban them from. So that's essentially what we're doing. We're having a ban appeal guild and we're linking it to the actual guild so we can use it in our buttons and models and submissions and all that stuff. So next we're going to go ahead and continue, so we can break, and we're going to go ahead and get our case. This is going to be disable. So we're going to go ahead and get all of our code now. So we're going to go ahead and start by saying if no regular data, then we're going to do await send message, and we can say, sorry, I can't disable a system that isn't already set up. So again, the regular data is going to be the data using the regular guild. So the appeal server data is going to be the appeal guild data. So we're basically either accessing it in the main server or the appeal server. And if we're disabling it, we want to make sure we're accessing it in the main server. So that's what we're checking for there. And then if we do have the data, then we can just say else, and we can do ban appeal.delete one, and we're going to go ahead and delete our regular guild data, which is going to delete all of the data associated with that guild. And then we can send the message saying it's been disabled. So essentially when we disable it, we're going to go ahead and disable the system in both servers because they're both linked together within our schema. So after we do that, we can go ahead and break, and we can go ahead and get our case, which is going to be send message. So within this time, let's go ahead and check to see if we do not have an appeal server data. And if we don't have data for our appeal server, then we're going to go ahead and send this message. The reason is we only want to send the ban appeal message that the user will be able to click and submit a ban appeal in the appeal server. So after we do that, we can say else, and we're going to go ahead and do var guild equals await client.guilds.fetch, and we're going to get our appeal server data.regular guild. So right now we're executing this command in our appeal server, so we need to get back to our regular server. So we're going to access the regular guild ID from the data that's associated with the appeal server, and then we're going to go ahead and fetch that guild from the client so that we can essentially communicate back and forth between the guilds. In this instance, we're only using this variable to get the guild name. Then we're going to go ahead and get our embed. This is going to be the embed that is basically the appeal embed that they're going to see. So it's going to be blurple. We can go ahead and say ban appeal for guild.name, and then we can set a description that says complete the ban appeal form below to submit your request to be unbanned. If your request is accepted, you'll receive a DM notifying you of your unban. And then we're going to go ahead and set the footer text to ban appeal system, and we can add a timestamp. Then we're going to go ahead and create a button. So we can go ahead and do const appeal row equals new action row builder. We're going to add our components, which is going to be new button builder. We're going to set the custom ID to ban appeal. We're going to set the style to button style primary, and we're going to go ahead and set the label to submit appeal. Next, we can go ahead and send our message. So we're going to go ahead and do two messages here. We're going to go ahead and reply to the interaction, and we're going to send that ban appeal message in that channel. So we're going to reply to the interaction saying, I've sent your ban appeal message, and we're going to set informal to true. And then we can also go ahead and do interaction.channel.send, and then we're going to send our embed, and we're also going to attach the appeal row. So we're basically sending the embed here and the appeal button, and that's all we have to do there. So now we're actually done with the setup process. So essentially we've set up our schemas and we've linked the two guilds together, and then we've also added a way for the appeal guild to send the ban appeal message. So now that we have the commands to set the system up, now we actually have to manage the backend part of it so that we can make all the buttons work and the entire appeal system work. So let's go ahead and close out of this file, and we're going to go ahead and go over to buttons, and we're going to go ahead and do appeal button. So we can just call this ban appeal.js as well. So the first thing we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to get our discord.js dependencies. So let's go ahead and get our model builder, our text input builder, our action row builder, and our text input style, all from discord.js. Then we're going to do module.exports, and this is going to be using the new DevToolKit handler. So like I said before, you could do this with collectors or an interaction create, but I'm going to be using my handler, so that's how this works. So we're going to do custom ID, and we're going to do our ban appeal custom ID, which we created in the send message command. Then we're going to do async executes. We can go ahead and get our interaction and our clients, and we can go ahead and open this up. So we're going to go ahead and make our model here. So we're going to go ahead and do const model equals new model builder. We're going to set a title to ban appeal form and a custom ID to ban appeal model. Then we're going to go ahead and get our input. We're only going to provide one input. because really all we need to get from this is why the user wants to be unbanned. It's going to be a paragraph with the custom ID of message, the placeholder of describe why it is you want to be unbanned, and we can say message to staff, because we're going to get all of the other user information from the interaction anyway, so we don't have to make them provide it. Then we're going to go ahead and essentially show the model. So what we need to do for that is add a new action row builder, which is going to be called question. We're going to add the components, which is going to be our input component, and we're going to do model.add components. So we're going to be adding our action row builder component, which includes the input to the model. So we've essentially composed our model here. So all we have to do now is show the model with our interaction. So now that we have the model set up, once you click on the submit ban appeal button, now we actually have to handle the model. So let's close out of that file and we can go over to our models, and we're going to go ahead and also create banappeal.js. So within this, we're going to go ahead and get our dependencies and both of our schemas. So we're going to get the ban appeal schema that we worked with previously, and we're going to get our appeal user schema, which is going to be where we essentially save our user data for that appeal. Then we can do module.exports, and we can do equals, and we're going to get our custom ID, which is going to be our ban appeal model, which we actually went ahead and set in our ban appeal button. So we set it right here. We could actually even go ahead and copy and paste that in there. So then we can do async executes. We can go ahead and get our interaction and our client, and we can go ahead and open this up. All right, so the first thing we're going to go ahead and do is let's go ahead and get our data. So we're going to do const data equals ban appeal.find one. We're going to find our appeal guild, which is going to be our interaction.guild.id, because this message is set within our appeal guild. And we're going to say if no data, then we're going to go ahead and reply saying this appeal form is no longer active. So the reason this might happen is, let's say we disable the system, but the message still exists, and you click on the button, then we don't have any data, we don't have any place to send our appeals or anything, so we just go ahead and reply with that. So next we're going to go ahead and get a couple more variables. So we're going to go ahead and do const send guild equals await client.guilds.fetch, and we're going to get our regular guild from our appeal guild data. So we're fetching the guild that we want to send the ban appeal to. Then we're going to do var banned equals send guild.bans.fetch. So we're going to essentially check to see if the person who's submitting the ban appeal is banned in the guild that they're appealing the ban to. So obviously if they're not banned and they're trying to submit a ban appeal, then we want to reply saying you aren't banned, meaning you can't submit a ban appeal. Then we're going to go ahead and make a check. So we're going to do var check, and we're going to go ahead and get our appeal user schema, and we're going to check to see if our user ID, the user who's submitting the ban appeal, is in our schema already. And if they are, we're going to go ahead and reply saying you've already submitted a ban appeal. So the reason we're doing this is because when you submit the ban appeal, we're going to go ahead and save the user who's submitting it in our schema. And then let's say their appeal gets denied. Then what's going to happen is we delete their ID from the schema so that they can appeal again if they want to. But while it's being reviewed and it hasn't been accepted or denied, then essentially we're going to make sure that they can't submit another ban appeal. So that's just to prevent spam. Then we're going to go ahead and get a couple more variables. So we can do const send channel equals await send guild.channels.fetch. So we're going to go ahead and fetch the channel we want to send our ban appeal message into. Then we're going to do const message equals interaction.fields.get text input value. So this is going to be the message that the ban appeal user is submitting to the guild. So now we're going to go ahead and create our embed. So we're going to do const embed equals new embed builder, just like we did before. And we're going to set color to blurple. We're going to set title to ban appeal request. And we're going to set the description to this user is requesting an unban and has sent a message below. So we're going to add fields. One is going to be user, value, interaction.user.username. And we're going to get our interaction.user.id. And then we're going to add fields, which is going to be name, message, and value is going to be the message from the model. And then we're going to go ahead and set footer to ban appeal system, and we're going to set a timestamp as well. Next, we're going to go ahead and get our buttons to either accept or deny the appeal request. So we're going to have unban button style danger. We're going to have the label to complete unban, and we're going to have another button which is going to be deny appeal, button style secondary, and this is going to be deny request. So we're going to have to handle those buttons as well. But for now, let's go ahead and get our message that we're going to go ahead and send. So we're going to do var message equals await send channel.send. So now essentially what we're doing is we're taking our embed and buttons and we're sending it into the pre-specified channel within the regular guild that the admins of that guild set up for ban appeals. So we're sending that message, and then we're going to go ahead and reply to that interaction saying your appeal was submitted. So now the last thing that we have to do is, like I said above, we actually have to create an entry in our appeal user schema that specifies that the user who submitted this appeal has just submitted a appeal, so that they can't submit another appeal until they're either accepted or denied. And obviously, if you're accepted, you're not banned, so our check up here is going to prevent them from submitting another appeal once they're unbanned, obviously, but if they get denied, then this is going to come in handy. So now we've actually completed the model portion. So we have two more files to do. One is accept and one is deny. So let's just go ahead and do our accept, unban, and then we can do our deny. So we're going to go back up to buttons and we can do ban appeal accept.js. So in here, we're going to go ahead and get our dependencies, model builder, text input builder, action row builder, and text input style, and we're going to get both schemas. Then we're going to do module.exports, and we can go ahead and get our custom ID, which is going to be unban button. And we're going to go ahead and get async executes, and we can go ahead and get our interaction, and we're also going to get our client. So within this, we're going to go ahead and start by getting our data. So we're going to get our regular guild data, and we're also going to go ahead and get our appeal data. So the regular guild data is the guild we're already in, and the appeal data is going to be the message that we're actually replying to. So right now, the button that we're working on is under the appeal message that was sent from the user into the regular guild, meaning that the message that we're checking for, the ID here, should be the ID that's saved in the schema. The reason is within our appeal create, we created a message, which is from the message ID from the send. So if these two variables line up, if our interaction.message.id and our message that we saved line up, then that means the button is valid and we can continue. Otherwise, then we're basically just replying on a message that shouldn't even exist anyways. So we're going to go ahead and return, and we can do that with two if statements. One is essentially the system is no longer set up by checking our data, and the other is our appeal. So we're checking our message, comparing the messages, making sure both of the interactions go to the same message, and then we can just check that as well. So now we're going to go ahead and get a couple of things. So we're going to go ahead and do var user equals await client.users.fetch. We're going to get our appeal user.data. So we're fetching the user from the appeal request from our schema that we set up in here as well. So we're getting the user who submitted the request, and we're checking to see if they exist. So we're getting that user variable so we can access them later and unban them if we need to. Then we're going to go ahead and try to unban them. So we're going to do var error equals false. We're going to do interaction.guild.bans.remove, and we're going to go ahead and get our user from the schema. So we're going to get the ID. And then if there's an error, we can just set error to true. So now we're going to go ahead and check to see if there was an error. So if error is true, then we can go ahead and reply saying that there was an error unbanning the user. There shouldn't really be an error with this because we already did checks in previous files, but if there is, we can just reply with that. Then we can say else, and we're going to go ahead and reply. So essentially, we're going to go ahead and start off by replying, saying I have unbanned the user and invited them back to the server. If they have their DMs off, they did not receive a message. Then we're going to go ahead and delete the ban appeal message so that an admin can't try to unban them after they've already been unbanned or deny them after they've already been unbanned. So we're just removing that message entirely. And then we're going to go ahead and delete the appeal user from the schema. So the person who we just unbanned, we're removing from the schema. So because their file is no longer pending, we can go ahead and remove them from that. And then we're going to go ahead and create an invite to the Discord server, and we're going to go ahead and send them that message saying your appeal has been accepted, and we're going to go ahead and give them the invite code in a Discord invite so that they can go ahead and join back. So essentially what we've done in this file is we've checked to make sure the message is valid, we've gotten our user from the schema, we've unbanned them, and we've sent them a message saying they've been unbanned, as well as deleting the appeal message from the Discord, and we removed them from the schema because they've already been unbanned. All right, so lastly, let's go ahead and create a new file so we can do ban appeal deny.js. Within this, we're going to go ahead and get our dependencies just like we did before, and we're going to go ahead and get our appeal user schema. We're not going to get the other schema like we did before, just our appeal user. Then we're going to go ahead and do module.exports, and we can go ahead and do custom ID. This is going to be deny appeal. Then we can do async executes. Let's go ahead and get our interaction, and we can get our clients, and we can go ahead and open this up. So we're just going to go ahead and do const data equals awaits appeal user, and we can do .find one we're going to get our message, which is going to be our interaction.message.id. Essentially, this is just to make sure that the message still exists and that the user is still in the schema and they haven't been unbanned. We're not really going to need to use this, but we might. So if there's no data, we can just go ahead and return. Then we're going to go ahead and do await appeal user. And we're going to do the delete one, and we're going to get our user, and we're going to go ahead and get our data.user. So we are actually using the data here. The reason is because the message ID is actually going to go ahead and have the user. So if we have the message of the interaction, that's going to be the appeal message. We can go ahead and compare that to our schema and find the one that's in, and then from that data, we can also pull our user. So we're going to go ahead and remove that schema. We can go ahead and delete that schema because the user has not been unbanned. And then we can go ahead and do await interaction.message.delete. So we're going to go ahead and delete it, remove them from the schema so that they can apply again in the future if they want to, and then just delete the message. We don't have to do anything other than that. So with that, we're actually done with this entire system. That's kind of a lot of code, but now we can go ahead and save the files, restart the bot, and test this out. All right, so like I mentioned, we have to go over into a new Discord server this time because we're going to go ahead and have to have an appeal server and a main server. So in our main server and our appeal server, we can go ahead and set up our system. So we're going to go ahead and select our appeal setup command. And now we need the ID of the ban appeal guild. So we're going to go over into our appeal server. Let's go ahead and copy that ID. And we can go ahead and paste it. And let's also go ahead and create a private channel. And let's just go ahead and call this ban appeals. And we can go ahead and send that there. So now let's go ahead and select our ban appeals channel for the channel that we want to send our ban appeals to. As you can see here, it's going to go ahead and say I have linked that guild with this server for ban appeals. Go to a channel in that server and run the ban appeal send message to finish setting this up. So let's go ahead and do that. So we can go over to the ban appeal server. So now these two servers are linked within the schema. So let's go ahead and create another channel. So we could do submit a ban appeal. So let's say we're in the server. This is our ban appeals channel. So technically, we wouldn't even need to have any of these other channels because it's a ban appeals server. So let's make this even more realistic and literally just create one channel in our ban appeals server for submit a ban appeals. Now, this is kind of realistic, actually, because this is going to be pretty much exactly what you would do in a ban appeal server. You'd have one channel and you'd send this message. That way, the members who are banned can actually access the ban appeals without being in your main server. So now we can go ahead and send the message. So we can go ahead and send it, and it's going to say I've sent your ban appeal message. Now, if we hadn't set this up, it's not going to allow me to send it because it's not a ban appeal server. Now, also, I can note that if we try to send the ban appeal message in this server, it's going to say this is not a setup ban appeal server yet. So like I said, it has to be linked to a different server as a ban appeal server. So because it's a ban appeal server and we've sent the message, now let's go ahead and try to submit a ban appeal. And as you can see here, we can go ahead and fill out our model, but it's not going to matter because I'm not banned in the server, meaning I can't submit a ban appeal. But I do have another user here, so let's go ahead and ban this user. We can go ahead and just ban them, and let's go ahead and go over to that account and submit a ban appeal there. All right, so now over on the other accounts, I'm no longer in that server. I'm only in my appeal server, so let's go ahead and click on submit a appeal. And we can just go ahead and say I want to be unbanned just for the test. And we can go ahead and click submit. And now it's going to say your appeal was submitted because this account is actually banned in the other server. Now let's go ahead and try to submit another request. And as you can see, it's going to say, sorry, you have submitted a ban appeal request. So that means I can't submit another one until I'm either accepted or denied, and specifically denied, because if I'm accepted, then I won't have to submit one. So now let's go ahead and go back over to the other account. So now on this account, we have a brand new message in our ban appeals channel, which is a private channel only for admins. And it's going to say ban appeal request. This user is requesting an unban and has sent a message below. So it's going to be the user that wants to be unbanned, and it's going to be I want to be unbanned. So let's just go ahead and start off by denying this request. So if we go ahead and deny it, nothing's going to happen. It's just going to go ahead and delete the message, and yeah, nothing's going to happen there. But if we go ahead and go back over into our bans, as you can see, like I said, nothing happened. So we just essentially deleted the message and denied the request. But back over on this account in our appeals server, now we can actually go ahead and submit a new request. Please unban or whatever. We can go ahead and send it. And now we, as you can see, submitted a new request because our previous request was denied. Now, just like before, if we tried to submit a request, now we have a current active pending request, meaning we cannot submit a second. So let's go back over to the account. And now we have a new message in here. It's going to be another unban request, obviously. And let's just go ahead and complete our unban. So now, as you can see, it's going to say I have unbanned the user and invited them back to the server. And if we check our bans, we go in here, bans, no one's banned. So it did complete the unban. So now let's go back over to the other account. And as you can see, we have a DM from the bot. So essentially it's going to say your ban appeal has been accepted in main server. You may now join back using this link, and we can go ahead and join back using that link. And now we're in the main server. All right, so that's how you can create a ban appeal system for your Discord.js version 14 bot. If you do need any help with this, go ahead and join the server in the description below and use our help channels here, and we'll be happy to help you out. And you might as well just join anyways, because this is a pretty good coding community. And with that, I will see you guys in the next video.